YouTube. This is my first video, so cut me some slack. I am not a professional YouTuber. I don't have a script, so this may get rough, but we'll do the best we can. So I'm here today to talk about my Harley Davidson Road Glide 114, the special edition, obviously, and the stage 2 and how I got to that point. And I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks, some game here, if you will. I've had to watch hundreds of videos to give you guys some of the information that you're going to get in this one video today. So I got this bike as a gift from my wife. I came back from Afghanistan last year and it was waiting in my garage. Fell in love with it, loved it. It was love at first ride, but just like everybody else, I wanted it to be louder and slightly faster. So the first thing I did, everybody on the internet was talking about these Rineharts. It was the Rineharts DBXs, supposed to be the loud ones. They were loud. They made the bike sound a lot better. I enjoyed them. I enjoy them still. And then I also added the Arleness air breather there. I did not do a tune, regardless of what the internet engineers and internet Harley tech guys say. You do not need a retune if you're doing just stage 1. Just the air cleaner and slip-ons. Air cleaner and slip-ons, unless you're having like some crazy backfiring and hiccup going on, overheating with your bike, anything like that, unless you're having that stuff going on, you do not need a retune. It runs just fine. The ECM is smart enough to pick up on those very minor changes, and it will adjust itself and the bike will run just fine. You will lose a little bit of bottom end torque. More to come on that later. So after I had that stage 1, I rode it for a while, loved it, still in love. But just like everybody else, you get on the internet, you're looking around, you're seeing what the other guys are doing. You want to go faster, you want to keep up, and you want to go stage 2. So you start researching stage 2. And what I found online is, looking at the graphs, with low end torque, actually I should just say the smoothest curve that I found with really good numbers was the Woods 22XE cam. So I ended up buying the Woods 22XE cam, and I got a modified stock exhaust manifold, which is a stock exhaust manifold with the catalytic converter removed. The welds were done. It wasn't like punched out or hammered out like some of the guys you see doing in their garage on YouTube. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying this one is cleaner and smoother. All right. So as soon as I put the stage 2 on, I picked it up from Harley. Here at my local Harley shop, they did the work. They tuned it for me. They put it on a dyno, rode off with it, and it sounded amazing. It was ridiculously louder, like a lot louder, stupid loud. But I did notice something. I noticed that above 3,500, maybe 35 to 4,500 RPM, the bike was it was a rocket, all right? It took off. But below that, I had no torque whatsoever. I had no bottom end torque in this bike. So here I am. I just dumped a buttload of money in it. The bike is loud at this point for no reason, because it wasn't much faster below 3,500 RPM. So did some more internet research and found out about a company called Fuel Moto. And Fuel Moto sells these tunable exhaust baffles that you can stick inside your current exhaust, so no need to buy a whole new slip-on set. I think I paid $100 for them. They come in a pair, and you insert them, which is pretty easy, inside your stock exhaust. And like I said, they're tunable, so you can adjust them. I left them the way they were shipped to me at first, and yes, I could tell the difference immediately. You could put it in there, and I had a little bit more bottom end torque. I was a lot happier with the bike, rode it for a little while. But then I looked online and I was looking around. There's really not a lot of content or information on how to, I mean, they're tunable, right? There's really not a lot of information on how to tune them. And unless you're going to spend a lot of money with a guy on a dyno, you know, going back and forth, checking your numbers each time you adjust them, you're not really going to, you know, make any progress there looking online for how to do this. But I'll give you what I did after some time just riding it. So this is my butt dyno talking, right? What I did was, on the right side, completely closed the baffle lip as far as down as it'll go. There's still space on the sides that lets air escape out of it, right? But anyway, it's essentially closed. The left side, I left how it was shipped. I didn't touch it, just left it on there. And that was very noticeable. It rides like, all my torque came back, even more so because of the stage 2. This thing is crazy. It's nuts. It's ridiculous. I have no complaints with how this bike rides now. I will add that because of the mistrust that I had at the Harley with the way they tuned it, I wasn't happy with my numbers, but some of that was because of the exhaust setup, but also just the conversation that I had with the guy. I didn't have a lot of trust in him. I think it was kind of just a, you know, run it and get it out of there type of scenario. And I learned more off of YouTube than I did with talking to the guy at the counter. So anyway, back to that. Because of that experience with the dyno there, and I didn't want to spend money, keep going back and forth with the dyno. Also with Fuel Moto, I got their tune that is customized around my setup with a power vision that I hooked up to the bike and retuned it. It's amazing. There's nothing bad I can say about that. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the Stage 2 and how you don't make it suck. There's been a lot of guys I have seen on the forums saying, hey, I lost all my torque, how do I get it back? Well, you need back pressure. That's the generic term anyway, back pressure. You can Google or look up whatever the science is behind it, but you need back pressure in your exhaust, rather if that's a tunable insert, rather if it's a different exhaust itself, if you want to spend that money, or even some way constricting airflow in the exhaust manifold. But you need that back pressure to keep your bottom end torque. I mean, I'm telling you, it was less than stock. The torque was terrible when I first got the Stage 2 done. So you could only imagine how silly you feel spending all that money just to get a, you know, a lackluster performing bike. Anyway, I got a few other modifications, just cosmetic. You saw on the other side, got the covers and the push rods black. Got Dominator series handlebars. There's also not a lot of content on those Dominator handlebars, so if you guys like to see a video about that, how I got the you know, stock couplers and some of this other stuff down here to work and go, just let me know. I'll do a video on that, some tips and tricks. How did I end up riding a Harley? Well, I mean, it's American icon. I was into touring bikes, and there's a lot of other people that make touring bikes. But if you buy another touring bike, you have to have every motorcycle conversation for the rest of your life. And it starts out with explaining and making excuses of why you didn't buy a Harley. So I got a Harley. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I'm not a professional YouTuber, so take it for what it's worth, all right? Thanks for watching.